Okay, so I have this cracked Samsung Galaxy Note 2 that I'm going to repair. The phone company wanted $125, I believe. They said it would start at $125. I've heard people paying up to $200 to have these screens replaced. So what I did is I'm a techie, so I repair things all the time, and I come from a technical background. So what I did is did some research and found a screen just arrived in the mail today online through eBay for I think I paid like $6 for it. I've seen them as low as 36 cents on Amazon. I don't know what's in the packaging, but what I am doing here is laying out some of the tools that you may need in order to do this job. I did some research on YouTube. There are a lot of videos on them. I've read up on it. People have different methods for doing it, but the purpose of this video is to be instructional, to show people how to do it, and hopefully it comes out right, because this is my first time doing it. So I'm going to show you some of the tools that I'm using to do it and that you're going to need. You're going to need a heat gun, or you can use a blow dryer, a hair dryer. Borrow your sisters, your aunts, your mothers, who cares? It'll do the same thing. I just so happen to have a lot of tools. Like I said, I am a techie, and I've been in the technical business for a long time. So what you have here is the kit. I'm going to open it in a second, but I also have some tweezers because I figure I may need them. I also have a whole set of eyeglass screwdrivers, which I think there's some screwdrivers that comes with the kit when I ordered it, and some of the things you need for the screen. I have witch hazel, although I know you're supposed to use alcohol, but witch hazel is similar to alcohol for cleaning the screen once I get to the point of getting ready to install the new screen. And I also, just to be on the safe side, have alcohol swabs. Now, you want something that's not going to leave lint behind when you clean your LCD screen, because when you take the glass off and replace the glass, you're going to actually clean the glue and all that stuff off and your fingerprints before you put the new glass on. So without further ado, I'm going to open the packaging and see what's in the packaging, because that I haven't done yet. Like I said, it just came in the mail, and hopefully, yes. So I'm looking at the kit here, and it looks like it does come with the necessary tools to remove the screen. Now, it does not have instructions from what I understand, but that's okay by me. I've watched enough videos on it. But these are the tools. I'm going to open these up. So these are some of the tools that are in the kit. Don't know what that's for, but I'm sure I'll find out. I don't know. Oh, this is actually the glue, the adhesive that you're going to use to apply the screen to the unit once it's installed. And it looks like everything's pre-cut for you. I don't know how well you can see this, but everything's like already cut out. It looks like you have to just kind of peel around. And this is your new glass. Now, the phone works fine. I actually just got off of it not too long ago. And this is the color that I need. So here's your new glass. From what I understand in the video, The hardest part is actually getting the old glass off without damaging the phone, which I'm getting ready to do now. So I'm going to set everything to the side that I don't need, but I will be needing these. And I'll start disassembling the phone. Now I'm hoping that you can see everything that I'm doing, because I'm actually using my old phone, a BlackBerry, to record this, and the camera's kind of offset, and I don't have a cameraman, so I had to set it up on a pod just to get a shot of what I'm doing here. So I'm going to take the phone apart, remove the back cover. Now I've seen people use wire and not take the phone apart to get the glass off. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to ruin the bezel. And I think it'll be a lot easier for me to do it this way. Now there are 11 screws in the back of this phone, from what I understand, that has to be removed. I think I cut the phone off already. Yes, I did. Okay, so I'm going to remove the battery, which is pretty self-explanatory. I'll stick it off to the side somewhere. I already took the memory card out because I'm actually recording with the memory card now. This is the SIM card for the phone company. I'm going to remove it. Okay. Now, this is the toolkit that comes with the new glass, and it has screwdrivers with it already, so I don't have to use mine. So you take these 11 screws out. From what I understand, they're all the same size, so you don't have to worry about mixing them up. That's one. That's two. Now, these are the locations, by the way. There are 11 screws. There's one here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm missing one. Let's see. Wait a minute. 11. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 screws that need to be removed. I'm going to pause the video while I'm doing that. No need in wasting it. Okay, so now I've removed all the screws. I've put them over here in a pile. As you can see, they're very tiny. But as long as you have a clean work surface and everything in order, you should not lose them. I'm going to remove the pin here. I forgot the S pin. Take that out. Set it aside. Now, I did forget how to remove this bezel. Can't remember where they said to start. Give me a second here to figure it out. Should be pretty easy though. Give me a second. Okay, if I remember correctly, I think they said the bezel pops out through the side here on the glass. Oh yeah, got my fingernail in there, so it's pretty. Yeah, these pop out, but you gotta kind of unlock it, going all the way around the phone. This is very lightweight, by the way. So it's from the top, looks like. Gotta find, that's a good spot. Let me see, I might have to put a tool to use here. Yes. Now there's some glass breaking out I see here from the broke phone here. Yeah. So looks like the phone just pops out from the bezel using this tool. Yeah. So you gotta kind of make your way around it. I have some chips of glass falling off. There we go. Now I just popped a corner. I don't know how well you can see that, but as you can see right here in the corner, and you can see the tool in between the glass here. So you kind of gotta take your time and go around. And I think I remember now they said you should start at the bottom. But yep, now the other corner just popped, which is great. So the phone's snapping out. So it's basically held in the same way, similar to the way the back cover snaps in. So see if I can get this. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see there is separation there. I can't remember which direction he said go, but... And by the way, this is my first time doing this, so I'm risking a lot. So if I can do this, I'm sure you could as well. If I damage it, I won't have a phone. And this is for the glass only, by the way. The phone itself works fine. The LCD is fine. Okay, I got that in there. It's a little tricky. You got to kind of work with it. And be careful not to cut yourself on the glass. Okay, now I got the whole thing to pop, as you can see right there. So now I got to get this phone out of the bezel here. It's going to take a little wrestling. Now, from what I understand, it locks under this piece here. So when I pull the bezel out, I'm going to have to kind of lift up and pull it back this way a little bit just to unlock it all the way. But I think I have to get the bottom all the way out first. There we go. You can see it popping up. There we go. See the bezel separating from the phone here. And you want to be careful not to damage any internal parts while you're doing this. So it's out on that side all the way. I just got to come back and get this side because it wants to pop itself back in. Okay, looks like the majority of it is out here. Now he did mention, and it looks like there's a clip or something holding it here. So on the inside of here, and you can see it's kind of bowed here, and I don't want to break anything. So I'm going to stick this tool in here and try to pop it. See what I did? I stuck it right in here, moved it a little bit, and up it came. And you can see it unsnapped right there from the snap. So now the bezel, as you can see, is up. Now that you're pulling on it, you can actually see the stress points where right here, this snap is still holding it. So I got to pull it out this way while pushing down on the actual phone to get that to come out of there. But at the same time, I need to pull this up a little bit. Yeah, it's held in right here. So I need to get in there. Let me try some things here. I'm going to pause the video for a moment while I play around with that. Don't want to break it. I think I figured it out. And like I said, I don't want to tell anyone wrong. So I want to make sure that it's going to be the right way and show you the right way. So once again, I've gotten the bezel up and I'm looking at it, and as I pull up here, I notice there's a rubber piece here. So looks like if I push down here, it may snap. I might hear a little snap, but I'm going to, there we go, just heard it snap. So what happened was I had to kind of push down on the actual phone while pulling the plastic piece down this way, and it looks like it snapped out with no problem. Yeah, so right here, this piece right here actually snaps up under this piece here. I don't know how well you can see that, but right there. So you'll hear it pop a little bit, but don't worry about it. That's the way it's supposed to sound when it comes out. So now this is just a plastic housing. You have your camera lens, glass lens or whatever in the housing. Now these are your electronics. This is your circuit board. Don't worry about this stuff. You're not going to touch anything as far as that's concerned. And you see how the bezel snaps into the side of the housings here. There's all these little indentions, one here, and so forth, all the way around the phone. And the bezel has these little lips, like so, and that lip snaps into that. So don't worry, you're good. The next thing I need to do is heat this phone up. Now I have access now between the glass and the actual LCD and the rest of the phone. Now I heard of one guy taking tape, clear tape, the wide type that you use for packaging, and covering this so when he pulls this apart that the glass does not shatter. I can't find my clear tape. At least I can't find the huge roll that I had. But I do have a smaller roll, and I may use it. You know what? I think I am gonna use it. Just to be on the safe side here. I don't think I'm going to really need it, but I'm going to do it because I seen another guy trying to take one of these off and his phone was shattered really, really bad, and the phone kept cracking. The glass kept cracking, so he had a hard time getting the pieces off the LCD, because you have to be careful. You don't want to overheat the phone, but you don't want to underheat it either, because you'll run into all kinds of issues of getting the glass off. So I'm gonna try this trick. I read a story about a guy that bought one of these, because when I bought this, there was a where the customers could leave their comments about it. Whenever you go on eBay or Amazon, you can look up information on the product that you're purchasing, and the customer reviews. Excuse me, my mind isn't really where it should be right now. But customer reviews, and one customer said he used tape because his screen was cracked so bad. But he used this tape, and he used a wide piece. And, as you can see, I'm putting several pieces here. But he did that so when he pulled the screen up, that all the glass would come up. I'm going to try this method. Don't know how well it'll work. If it doesn't, I could just pull the tape back off and continue to go. Either way, it doesn't matter. The glass is already broken. I'm just making it easier for it to come off without shards of glass getting in my hand. I have a few shards on the table right now. So I'm just basically laying this in here to cover all the cracks. See? So now I can get in between the glass and the housing, which is what I need to do. And the kit comes with all these guitar picks, which allows you to get under there. And you're going to start from the top of the phone. You don't want to start at the bottom, because down here there are some LEDs for your control buttons and your control button, and these LEDs that are down here are actually stuck to the glass this way. So you don't want to ruin those, because you're going to need them. And if you ruin them, then you'll be looking at replacing that too, and you don't want to spend any extra money, of course. And you want to start up here. And when you start, you want to pry up and not so much as in. You kind of want to go up as you pry this glass off. And you want to do one corner, then the other corner, and kind of bring it down until you see all of this coming apart and separating. And when you get to the bottom, then you want to get these off without damaging them. And I do have some glass shards here. Let's see if I can kind of push them back so I don't cut myself. Blow them out of the way for now. Okay, so now I need to heat the phone. So you take, now the proper temperature is 180 degrees. I don't have anything to thermometer to read the temperature, so I'm gonna put the heat gun on a low setting, which is what I've seen everyone do. And this part you're supposed to be very patient with. It is said that this part is the most tedious part, and you want to kind of be careful when doing so. I think this heat gun is going to melt this tape. If it does, oh well. So I have it on a low setting here. I'm just going to heat it up. And the idea is that you heat this up enough to loosen the adhesive that holds the glass to the housing. Move. Sorry, talking to my dog. I have two of them, and two pit bulls, and they tend to get a little active when I don't want them to. Now, I don't know what 180 degrees feels like as far as when it comes to heating this, but I'm going to try to do it uniformly and try not to overheat the phone. The tape's holding up pretty decent. Oh, that's pretty hot. You may have to reheat as you go, by the way. Which is no big deal. Okay, I think that should be hot enough. Now what I'm going to do is take the guitar pick and try to get it between the glass. Oh, that's kind of hot. Careful not to burn yourself. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this in between the glass. I may have to use a razor blade to start it like I've seen some people do. Let me see. Who knows? Oh no, I can get it in there. There we go. So now I've gotten it started. The idea is to kind of pry up, and as you can see, it's already lifting. And if you notice, I'm prying upwards, and you can see it actually lifting. I can hear it, and you can actually see it separating. Oh, that's beautiful. You don't want to rush it. You want to take your time with doing it. And you see, I got this going down inside. I'm moving it at a pretty decent pace. Now that I have that side started, you go to the opposite side. And once again, be very careful, because there are some things inside this corner that you don't want to damage. And you kind of pry up, and you can see the adhesive separating. And as you can see, I have it pulled up here. Now I'm going to go to this side. I'm not left-handed, but for the camera's sake, I want to kind of get that. See, now this is where he ran into problems with the broken glass, because it wanted to not separate at that point. It's starting to harden a little bit. I'm going to move a little bit faster, although I'm not going to move too fast. It's coming up pretty good though. If I could get the other side to do this, that would be great. Now you see the glass just cracked right there. That's fine though. That's from me moving a little too fast. But that's okay. I have most of this whole section here up already, which I didn't think I was going to do it that fast. And the adhesive is starting to cool a bit, but I still might be able to make some things happen here. Yeah, it's still coming. And you can see it as it's traveling across here. I still have a spot here that needs to come apart. Now as you're doing this, you want to be careful not to damage the LCD. which is under there because I'm actually prying upward and inward as I go. And as you can see, it's still moving. I see it there, and you can see the adhesive separating from the LCD as I go. Now I think I might add just a little heat to it, not much, just to help me get that part to separate a little bit. And if you notice, I'm not too close to it. I just want to warm it up uniformly without overheating the phone. I've heard of people discoloring the LCD or something from overheating it. That should be enough. Oh yeah, that was enough. So, see if I can get this back in here because the adhesive kind of wants to re-stick itself. And you can see it separating near the middle there. See if I can get this piece to help it along. If I can get under there. There we go. There we go. There we go. See it? You can see it moving. And you can see the glass is separated. And I'm moving it all the way until you see the adhesive starts coming down to here. And then I'm going to kind of slow my roll. Be a little careful. Because I don't want to mess those buttons up on the bottom there. Now I have the glass separated, as you can see, and this is where it gets tricky. I still have some adhesive stuck right along in here. As you can see, there's a little wave there. I'm going to pull up on this while it's still kind of this part is a little tedious because I know that they're there and it's my first time doing it. I've never gotten under there to see it with my own two eyes outside of YouTube videos. So I'm taking this part very slow. But the tape seems to work out well, because had I not done that tape, when it cracked earlier, it probably would have broken at that point and I would not have been able to pull the whole screen up. So now I'm being very cautious here, and as you can see it lifts up here, and you can see this is slowly moving over. That's the adhesive. It's coming off here at this point. So this is the point where I have to be careful because it has a real thin strip that actually connects that button, and you don't want to rip that strip. That strip is like a little thin metallic strip. You don't want to rip it. Okay, now I've gotten the adhesive to go all the way back to this button here. So now I can slowly lift this where I can have access to those buttons. And I'm going to look under there and see if there's a way to get to them without get them to separate without causing damage to them. Oh, I see them. Wow. Okay. Now I'm looking in here. Let me see if I can pull off a miracle here. Yes, they're still intact. They're right where they should be. I don't know if you can see them, those two white buttons, one there and one on the other side. Oh no, wait, I see. Okay, I see what's going on. I'm going to have to stick a screwdriver in there. A little thin flathead that comes with the kit. And push that adhesive down so I won't rip those, okay? Because they are trying to separate, looks like. Yeah, now see that? That is coming down. That's what you want to do. That's the metal strip you don't want to rip. So it has a thicker adhesive than the adhesive on the glass. So when you take this apart, you want to push down on that. And this side's coming pretty decent. I may have to heat the other side a little bit if the adhesive lets go of my screwdriver here. Okay, that side is done. Now to the other side. In fact, I think I'm going to start from this side and kind of separate that glass there. And you can see the strip. The back half of the strip is still stuck. I want to get that disconnected. There we go. Now see what I just did? I just separated it. You can see there's separation. So now I'm going to go to this side and try to do it from this direction a little bit here. Like I said, that adhesive is a little bit stronger. I don't want to flip the button all the way back. I've seen people flip it all the way back, but I don't want to do that. Because this is my first time. So now, of course, as you can see, the button, the actual button's falling out too, and that's fine. It should. Now you can see a little bit better what I'm saying here. So I gotta get this down. That adhesive is pretty strong. And I don't want to rip this. That's what I don't want to rip. There's a right in there, you can see where this actually connects here. I don't want to rip that. So I'm going to have to add a little heat to that. To help break that adhesive. It has some really strong adhesive. It's not really strong, it's just stronger than the adhesive that actually it's just stronger than the adhesive that's used to hold the where's that flathead? Here it is. It's just stronger than the adhesive that was used to hold the actual glass on. Now I can see it from the back, so I'm going to go from the back here and disconnect it. What I'm doing is pushing it down. I don't know if you can see that. I'm using a screwdriver to push that strip down to break that adhesive. That's part of it. Still have a little bit more to go, but I can see it very well from here, which is great because it's hard getting to it from the other side. And as I go, you can see it. There we go. It just separated. So now I can pull the glass off. That's the most difficult part about repairing this phone. That was the most difficult part. The rest of it is going to be pretty easy. So there's your broken glass. The original glass. And as you can see, the tape held it in place. Now what you're seeing here is all the old adhesive. All of this you rub off with your fingers. You want to double check now. So because I've noticed a lot of people have not showed exactly what they meant about breaking this strip down here. When showing the video, they just go through it real quick. This is what they're talking about. You have this little strip here. This strip is what actually, this is glued to the glass, this whole piece here, and on this side as well. You don't want to break this strip, because if you break that strip, then you won't have control of the phone. And okay, so here's your button. Your button comes out. It didn't actually fall out when I thought it would. So this is your main button here, and you see, and just look at it how it goes in. This little end here, they have these little very small tabs. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a very small tab right there, and then there's another on top here, and they match up with these little tabs that you see on the edges of this button here. That's what actually how that goes back in, so you can't mess that up. It only goes one direction. The next step is removing all this old adhesive. Use your finger to do it, and as you can see, it just simply rolls off. At first it scared me because it looked like a crack, but it's just the adhesive. And don't worry about fingerprints, because that's why you have the alcohol. You're going to clean the LCD once you get all this old adhesive off. Now, this phone had been repaired at one point before. I don't know if it was because of the screen or what, but it was a refurb, which means they refurbished it before. So chances are the phone itself was probably fine. Someone probably cracked the screen and they replaced it and sold it to me as a refurb. But that could be one of the reasons why it was so easy to get the adhesive off as well. And if you notice, it just peels right off. It's like a clear adhesive. Stuff's strong though. Now it also has this rubber band like going around the edges here. That should come off. Let's see how it comes off. This is actually what adheres to glass. Now, as you notice, I just went around the speaker cover there. It's still there. It didn't fall off, which is great. Now, as you can see, I just pulled that off. Yeah, it looks like it's probably what was replaced before. See, the phone company does this and they'll charge you arm and a leg, when in reality the part isn't expensive, it's just the labor. I'm going to use alcohol to get that nice and clean. And this is why I said be careful when you pull it up from the beginning. This is the top of the phone. You don't want to damage anything up here. You don't want to damage that strip. As you can see, I'm still pulling adhesive off. And you don't want to damage this. This is it's just like a computer, a data cable. It's used to connect everything to make everything else work. And if you notice, I'm still pulling adhesive off here. Just rub your fingers across it, your thumb, and as you can see, it just peels right off. And you get the big chunks off. So that feels kind of smooth there, which is telling me that I've gotten most of it. And your cameras and your light for your camera is right there on your front facing camera. And I still have some adhesive here. I can feel it. So you just kind of rub it off. And voila, the glass is removed. Now I gotta clean up this work area, so give me a second so I can clean up this work area, and I'll show you how to install the new screen, the new glass. That's your screen. Okay, I'm back. So now I have the work area kind of clean here. The phone looks good. Nothing got damaged in the process, which is great. Circuit board in hand. The next step is to actually clean the phone so I can put the new adhesive on. Now, I've never done this either. So what's going to happen is the new kit came with a whole adhesive sheet here, and it looks like it's a punch out. So you punch out the pieces you need here in the middle, and the rest of it just kind of sticks on where it's supposed to be located. And it looks like it goes this way. So it sticks on like so. And in the middle you have the two adhesive pieces for the buttons here. Now I need to clean the adhesive from those buttons. And remember earlier when I said that adhesive was much stronger. The original adhesive was much stronger, or feels much stronger. At least that's what one of the other YouTube guys posted. He said it was much stronger than the other adhesive that's used to hold the glass on. To me, it doesn't seem that much stronger. But what I'm doing now is I'm peeling the residual adhesive from the button, because I don't want to apply the new adhesive. As you can see, it's coming off. I don't want to apply the new adhesive just to have a lump here. So that's off. Now I gotta do this side, because you don't want a big lump there. So I kind of take my fingernail here and get it started. And as I'm doing it, I'm being careful not to rip the pad. So there's the other one. So now it feels pretty smooth. I still have a few rough spots, which the alcohol pads will remove the rest of that glue. So all my buttons and everything is still intact the way they should be. Just removing any excess glue, because when you lay the screen on, you want to make sure it's flat. You don't want any gaps anywhere. And you have any gaps anywhere, then you'll deal with dust getting inside, etc., etc., etc. And you want this as dust free as possible. Okay, so now that I have that off, I'm going to use my alcohol swabs to clean it. I'm not going to even use the witch hazel because it doesn't look like I may need it. Although now, when I said witch hazel, it's not supposed to be witch hazel. It's supposed to be alcohol you're using. That's why I'm using the swabs instead. Luckily, I have enough of these swabs to get the job done if I don't get them all done on this go around. So first, I'm going to clean the edges. I'm going to make sure all of the adhesive is gone. From the edges. You want alcohol because alcohol will dry without leaving any residue, and that would give the adhesive something to stick to. Because if you have any residue on there, the adhesive may not stick. The goal is to make sure you clean everything. Now, I've seen where people have done this before and the speaker grill has came off. Mine didn't, so I'm not going to bother with it. I'll leave it there. I'm going to clean all the adhesive I can from the glass. Well, from the LCD. And it came out perfect. Wow. This looks really good. Once this dries, I'm going to have to wipe it again with a lint-free cloth. So I don't want any swirls or anything like that in the screen. I want it to be nice and clear. And it's the most irritating thing in the world can be when you have a phone that has a piece of hair or something like that under the lens and you can't get to it. That drives me nuts. I have a thick piece of adhesive still left over from the old stuff here. Now I seen one guy on YouTube that when he replaced all the adhesive, he had to cut out little strips and put them on individually and fill all these areas up. I guess it depends on who you order the kit from, where you get the complete gasket or adhesive, replacement adhesive. I ordered mine from eBay, and it came with the adhesive already cut out. All I have to do is just put the sticker on and remove it. Now what I'm doing here is just trying to grab a piece of the old adhesive that doesn't want to let go. I want to get as much of it as I can, there we go, off of this foam. That way there are no imperfections when I put it back together. This is starting to dry out and it still has a little bit of adhesive stuck on it. Now, the smart thing to do right now is to test this foam while you still have it apart. Because if anything goes bad and you put new glass on it, you're going to be pissed. So I'm going to put the battery back in it, at least partial away, and figure out how to there we go. Now I'm going to hold the battery in place while I do this. The goal here is to make sure it's functioning like it should. Because your main concern is really here. See how they lit up? You're fine. Everything's lighting up. And the goal is to make sure that it's functioning properly, so you don't have to worry about, okay, well, what do? I've put it back together and now something's broken. You want to make sure it's right. So, as you can see, it's swiping the way it should. Let's see here. Yes, they're functioning. Yep. So if I go, let's see. Yep, button's functioning fine. Here's your home button. Good. Okay, so the phone's functioning fine. I can go ahead and shut the phone down. Power it off. And that's all I did, was just held the button and put the battery in place while I did that. Now I can finish cleaning the phone, apply the new adhesive, and put the screen on. Phone shut off. Move the battery. As you can see, it's not even locked in place because the housing is not on it. This is what actually locks it in place. So now I can proceed with cleaning it some more. Use another alcohol swab here and get what I didn't get the first time. And then I'm going to use, I have a eyeglass lens cleaner, which is a soft cloth designed for cleaning the lens of your glasses without scratching them. I'm going to use it. To do the final clean. Got one stubborn spot. There we go. You want to make sure you get it all. Like I said, I would hate to be looking under the glass. I see a spot that I can't get to. Make sure all the glue is off. Believe me, that stuff is it's not the easiest to get off. Now air dry it, and I'm going to use my special lens cleaner here. See, I have a pair of Armani glasses that came with a cleaning cloth. I'm going to use that cleaning cloth to make sure I don't leave any streaks or anything like that on the actual LCD. Bust it nice and clean. And it's going to take a few passes to get it actually as clean as you should, and you're going to run into a couple of little spots that still has a little glue. Once you get it clean, of course, you're not going to want to touch it again with your hands. See, it's almost clean there. It just takes a technique, and you got to keep at it. And I'm still pulling up glue a little bit. I just pulled up a little bit there. This rag will, and you want to use something that's lint free, like what I'm using now, because if you use something with lint, you're going to end up with lint in between the glass and the LCD. Can't stress that enough. And trust me, it will irritate the crap out of you. I had an old phone. It wasn't an Android phone, but it was a touchscreen, a LG Rumor. That thing got dust and everything up under the glass. And it was so irritating because it wasn't worth me taking the phone apart just to clean the dirt out of there. But it pissed me off enough. Every time I looked at the phone, it was irritating to see it. Yeah, buff all the little marks out of it. Now, you see how clean that is? That's what you want. That's how you want it. And once it's clean all the way, and you have no streaks, no finger marks or anything of that nature, that's when you can start installing the screen back on the glass. I don't know why I keep saying screen. The screen is what I'm cleaning now. And of course, I can't get it factory, but it's pretty much there. I mean, there's no spots or dust or anything on it. Now I'm shaking the rag here just to do it again, just to make sure, because I don't want a flaw on my screen. When I get done with this phone, you'll never know that it was repaired. When people have different methods, like I said, this is an eyeglass rag from Giorgio Armani. I had some nice Armanis I paid about $400 for, and I still have them actually. They're They're right here. But I knew that I had this cloth that would do the job of cleaning this LCD without fingerprints or anything being left behind. Oh, that looks good. Okay, so now the next step is I don't want to get this dirty again, so I'm not going to touch it. But what I am going to do is sit it off to the side. I think I'm going to cover it until I get the adhesive clean. Removed from its home here. Get all the little pieces out so I can proceed with actually installing the adhesive. And it looks pretty straightforward. Everything just punches out. As you can see, I just punched out the little camera, front facing camera there. The earpiece. And so forth. So I'm going to punch everything out that needs to come out. When I read the reviews, most people said, oh, it was easy. So it was great. Now these are for the buttons down at the bottom. I'm going to punch the whole section out once I get the smaller pieces out. This is why you need tweezers. You can grab the little pieces that don't want to cooperate. And like I said, this didn't come with instructions, but I went online, found somebody that had done it already on YouTube, and it was pretty straightforward. The hardest part is actually removing the old glass without damaging the phone. And if you're pretty tech savvy or mechanically inclined, you can do it. Now, as you can see, I punched out the main little holes. Now I need to punch out the whole little sections for the buttons down on the lower part of the phone there. These punch out pretty easy. I thought I was going to have to use a razor, but I guess when they machined it, they did a very good job. So there. Now you punch out the major part. I had to find a place where I can do it without ripping the thing, because it's very thin around the edges and you don't want to rip it. You want to be very cautious wherever you start to punch it out. And looks like I may have spoke too soon when I started talking about razor blade, but I think if I get it started I should be fine. I'm going to bend it. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to pull out the razor blade. Let me pause the video for a moment till I find my razor. Okay, so I'm back. I found my X-Acto knife, which is actually better than a razor. Haven't used it in a while, but trust me, it will do the job. It's extremely sharp, so be careful. All I'm going to do is find a place where I can get the punch out started. Okay, I just heard it go through right here. Hopefully I can This looks like it may be a little tedious here, but it's okay. It's well worth it. Be careful not to cut yourself while doing this. I think I may be able to pull this apart. No, I don't want to pull the top part off. I think what's happening here is I need to pull the bottom part off first. I may be going by this wrong. I think I need to pull the bottom part off first. Because let's see here. This is the old. So no, wait. It goes this way. Okay. So I'll pull the white part off first and stick it. Ah, I get it now. So you pull the borderline off first. That's what you do. You pull this borderline off. And then you stick it to the phone. Took me a second to figure it out, but okay. So basically you line this up with the edge of the phone here. You line everything up. And adhere it. And if you notice, I did not remove the white part on the inside, and you'll see why in a minute. Now I know why it was already pre-cut on that side, but not all the way through on this side. So now I'm going to stick this down. So it's all stuck down, and what's happening here is just the edge is stuck down because I left the white part on the part that's not supposed to stick to the screen. So all of that is already down. It's already pre-cut, so it fits around everything it's supposed to fit around, like the camera and the speaker and all that stuff. So everything's where it's supposed to be. And now I just want to make sure it's pressed all the way down. Bring this out to the edge a little bit more. I don't like it. Could have been cut a little bit better. It was like they kind of cut it short a little bit on the corner, but that's okay. It still covers where it's supposed to cover. Now, the next step is to actually peel the blue part off. If I can get under the edge of it here. Nope, I got the glue itself. I don't want to do that. A little tricky. There we go. See, the trick to it is find somewhere to get the blue part started. Looks like I got it started here. And now I'm going to have to pull it up without pulling up any of the adhesive I don't want to come up. There we go. It's coming up now. See what's happening? Now this side I'm going to have to play with because it wants to come up with it, but if you notice, I'm just rubbing my thumb along there while I pull up, and now it's coming up. I'm going to leave that down and still do the same thing here. This corner I know can be tedious. And if you notice, I'm not touching the LCD anymore because I don't want to have to clean it again and ruin my glue in the process. Now, this is tricky because the bottom half does not want to cooperate. So I'm going to have to play with it for a moment and separate it. There we go. There we go. And this isn't that easy. There we go. Because it wants to stick to that paper. There we go. Okay, so it's off. Now if you notice, it's up a little bit. I'm using this to just kind of put it back where it belongs because I don't want any gaps. I want this to be exactly the way it's supposed to be, so that no dust gets under there and gets to the screen. And this was the side that was cut kind of weird, but it looks like it's fitting, so I'm good. Yep. Oh yeah. It's not sticking out. Yes, sweet. Everything's where it's supposed to be. Now, my next step I'm gonna shake this cloth again. Get that. I got a little dust particle right there. And some dust from the actual screen. Now if you notice, I'm not using any alcohol or anything. I'm just using that same cloth I was using before. And I'm going as close to the edge as I can without actually hitting the adhesive, just to get the couple little dust particles off that I got on there from the back of that adhesive sheet. I've heard of people using compressed air too from the cans that you use to blow out your buttons on your computer. Okay, that's clean again. Nice and clean. Okay, now I gotta put these on, and each one is shaped a certain way so you'll know which one goes where. And in this case, these should be straightforward, a little easier because they're already cut out, as you can see. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to use tweezers to help me line it up. That way I don't touch anything I'm not supposed to touch, because I want to keep it as clean as possible. Okay, that one's on. And these are the adhesive strips for the actual buttons and how they attach to the glass. Okay, here's the other. So as you can see, I'm just peeling the paper off there. I'm also going to use tweezers to hold this one. You know what? I may not need tweezers for this one. As long as I don't get my hands all up in the adhesive, I should be fine. Okay. Just make any adjustments that may be needed. Now, this is what's going on next. It looks like it's sandwiched in between a couple of sheets here with the adhesive that was what I'm going to do is pull that off now, because it's getting ready to get stuck on. And I'm going to sit it off to the side here. double check everything before I put it on, and I need to remove the blue cover. You see the little adhesive backing you see there. Do the same thing for the other one. And remember, people, this is my first time doing this. A lot of it's just common sense. Some of it you see I had to figure out, but I figured it out. Okay, that one's off. Now, it's all about applying the glass. And I think what I'm going to do is use this stopper here, because I think that's what that is for. Now there's one more thing I need to do. I almost forgot. I'm glad I thought about it. The actual button. This button here, this trim piece has to go into the new glass the exact same way, with this thick end here at the bottom and then a thinner at the top. So this comes out. So I have to remove that. And while I'm doing that, I better move this so I don't get any dust or anything on it. Last thing I need is dust. So now you take this one's in here pretty good. Looks like I'm gonna have to use the X-Acto knife to get up under there. And pop this out. There we go. As you can see, it's popping out. This is just a bezel. And it's almost out. I can grab it by hand now. You see it's stuck in place. Now I want to put it in the new glass the exact same way it came out. And that means with this larger end, which is the bottom part of it, down toward the bottom. So now it's stuck in place. We're not really stuck. It's there, but it doesn't look like it's going to fall out. The next and one of the close to the final things to do is to put this button back in. As you see, I have tweezers. And remember, I said it goes a certain way. These tabs on the buttons will tell you which direction it goes in. Don't know how well you can see that, but there's a tab right there, and it goes in one direction at the bottom, and this one goes in one direction at the top. And that's the only way it will go in correctly, and it fits in these little tabs that's already in there. Now, one final time, I'm going to take this cloth and make sure that there isn't a speck of dust on this thing, because I want my LCD to look really, 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 really nice. I don't want dust inside my LCD. I'd be pretty pissed about that. And it looks good. So now I can go ahead, install this button. That's one side in. Use a screwdriver to keep it in place while I remove this tweezers. Push the little tabs down where they belong. Line the button up, push the other tab down. I don't know how well you can see that, but I'm going to pull it up and kind of explain it for you. But as you can see, the button's in place. And there's a tab there and a tab there with a little tiny hole that tab goes into to line that button up so you can't screw up. So now the last part is here, and that's putting the screen back on. And if you notice, I'm not going to touch the part that let me see something here. Now I'm a little confused. I want to make sure I do this right, because it looks like another coat or something over it. I want to make sure that I don't install it in this. It's not supposed to have it or something. Yeah, see, I almost didn't catch that. Yeah. See, I almost didn't catch that. That's got to be super clear. Let me pull this back out, because this needs to come off. So let me pull this back out. I almost didn't catch that. Yep. I almost didn't catch it. I would have been upset with myself. These are the things you gotta look out for when you're doing this. So you pull this extra layer of, now you notice it had 2 layers because I pulled the one off already. This is the second layer. You pull that off. That's not clear. Now you can install this, but first you got to put this back in. Now flip it over, and using this suction cup, you can line everything up and drop it in place. I started with the top, as you can see. And it's in place. So now all I need to do is press the adhesive. Button's working. Everything is where it should be. I can now seal it, and it's done. That, my friends, is how you repair a Samsung Galaxy Note 2. And if you notice, I did it in detail. This is how you replace the glass on it. So I did it in detail, and so you have to excuse how long the video is. It's almost 30 minutes long. We're at 26 minutes now. but it's well worth it because it's in detail. A lot of the videos don't show you everything you need to know, and in this particular case I wanted to be as detailed as possible. The tool set that came with the new glass was perfect. It came with plastic pry bars, different size screwdrivers, and these guitar picks, and this ring that I did not use on the suction cup, which I'll probably pay for trying to pull it off. But who cares? My screen's repaired, or my glass is repaired. Now, I'm not going to make the mistake of not getting a case for this, because that's what got me in trouble in the first place. So now that this is installed, I can put the bezel back on, put the battery back in the back cover, and I'm good to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is how you repair or replace the glass on a Samsung Galaxy Note 2. It's done. New. Oh, that looks so good. Please be expecting more videos from me in the future about how to repair other things.